he's he's kind of unusual because typically centers are usually a little bit shorter. You can get away with centers 6 foot, 6'1", 6'2". I think the ideal, if you look at the NFL, 6'3", what they're looking for. I mean, he's a 6'4", almost 6'5" center. He's 312 pounds right now. He's still baby-faced. He can run. He can jump. He came to our camp and tested unbelievably well. We try to get guys to get on board with us, and then we still want them to come to camp and compete and develop a relationship, a working relationship with their coach, how he coaches, what the drills are going to be, and things like that. And he came to camp and tested even better than we anticipated him testing. His running, his jumping, all of his numbers. And then the fact that he graduated early as an on campus is going to give him a chance. It's hard to play on the O-line as a freshman. But the fact that he's here 6 months early and he's already a big, physical, strong guy and very, very intelligent, it gives him a shot. It gives him a shot. So I would say, we had identified Tyrell very early on in the process. Again, just like I said with the O-line, it is difficult to play on the D-line, as a freshman. Although we're going to probably have to have a few guys do that. So being able to get a guy who's older, more mature, he's about 6'4", he's about 300 pounds right in that ballpark right now. But yeah, having a veteran, older guy like that that's already played against older players and been very successful. He had offers from everybody in the country, and being able to get an older guy like that on board with us, I think it was significant. There's no doubt about it. Obviously with Ficken moving on, we hadn't had a recruited scholarship player in the program in the kicking, punting, and snapping positions. As you guys know as well as we do, you could probably make an argument over the last 4 years that, over the last 2 years that maybe 4 games could have been could have came out differently if we could have been a little bit more consistent on special teams in terms of swing and field position and things like that. So having 2 guys come in that we've seen kick in person, have been very, very successful at camps that they've gone to, have been very successful at games. You look at Blake Gillikin and what he did in his state championship game was as impressive of as a performance as we've ever been around. And then Mr. Barbier came to our camp and crushed the ball. Got a really, really strong leg. Is really, really competitive. They both trained with the same coach, so they had a relationship. So that helped. To go to Georgia and get 2 guys to come here, and they're going to have an opportunity to come and compete. We really like the guys that we have in our program. I think they're going to take a step this year with what they learned last year. And they're working really hard right now, and this is going to allow us to bring 2 more guys in to compete with them to give us the best opportunity to be successful on Saturdays. You talked about Michael Bennett. He's another guy that committed very early on. The whole family committed. The high school coach committed. The AD committed. Never wavered. We lost our offensive line coach. Another offensive line coach in this conference called him and said, "Hey, I don't know if you know, we really want you at school X, and they don't have a line coach at Penn State right now, so are you interested?" Mm-hmm. And Michael's response was, "Well, if you want me, you better take the Penn State O-line job." And to me, that just talks about how that family was committed to us. You talk about what position he's going to play. We try to recruit guys that create flexibility. I'm not a big believer in recruiting guys that are going to play guard and guard only, or center and center only. You'd like to recruit guys that create flexibility. Guys with tackle body types, guys that are 6'4" or longer, they could go in and play guard. Typically guards are a little bit shorter, maybe a little more girth to them. But the reason I'm saying all this is we want guys that create flexibility in terms of athleticism, their movement, in terms of power, in terms of intelligence. And I think Bennett is one of those guys. I think if you look at all 4 of our offensive linemen, Fries, everybody has slated as an offensive tackle, and we do as well. But you look, he played a lot of guard in high school, big physical guy. Bennett's a guy that I think has the athletic ability to play tackle, has the intelligence to play center, has the power to play guard. And I'd say the same thing, which is unusual for McGovern. Typically centers are center only, or they're center and swing guys to guard. But I would not put it past that McGovern could play tackle for us as well. Gellerstedt is the one guy at this point of his career is probably a true prototype tackle. 6'6", 277 pounds or whatever he is right now. And you got to remember too, he was a defensive end up till his junior year, so offensive line is still new to him. So I would say he's more of a tackle, but we would like to train him. Coach Moorhead and Coach Limegrover would like to train him over time to be able to give us flexibility. That's something that I am excited about. As you guys know, we've kind of had a situation on the offensive line where we had to train all those guys to play 5 positions because that's how we were creating depth. But when you do that, it's difficult to master one. So now that we're starting to get the depth, a true 3 deep on the offensive line, you're allowing guys to stay in a position and really become a master of their craft at that specific position. I think if you look around college football right now and you look in the NFL, you need multiple backs. You're gonna need 3 backs that you can depend on. You look at the programs like Penn State. They're going to go out and sign significant players at the same position every single year, and you have to embrace competition. You have to embrace the ability to come in and compete. I think in a lot of ways, the success that Saquon had this year, I think was actually a positive. Because Miles could see himself having success like that, and knowing that we were going to need multiple backs, that are elite to help us go where we want to go. And it's not just Saquon. I mean, you look at the other backs that we have in our program right now. It's going to be really good competition there, and I know they're excited for it as well. So all the rankings are great, and Miles has earned those things, but he's going to come to Penn State and going to have to earn them again. He was a guy that we've been aware of for a long time. He went to Gateway High School, which we got a guy on our staff that was the head coach at Gateway. So you talk about having a relationship for a long time and knowing the guy, and knowing what he's all about, knowing his family. Those things help. Now, obviously, we got a great relationship with Lackawanna as well. So when you're able to get a guy, it's a little bit unique because he's 3 for 3. So he can come in here, so it's not really like a junior college player, it's not really like a high school player, it's kind of right in between. He has 3 years of eligibility. He's 285 pounds right now. It's a unique situation, and something that we knew there was mutual interest, and a guy that we'd been kind of investigating for a long time, and then at the end it made sense for both parties, and Terry was a big part of that as well as Coach Ronnie. And again, it just came back to the fit. It made sense for him and his family. It made sense for Penn State based on the need that we had at the position and the talent and his background. He's done extremely well academically there as well. Looking forward to getting him on campus as soon as we possibly can.